broadcasting from Seattle, Washington. Where are you located right now?
Hi, I am in London, in UK.
And where are you originally from?
So I'm from the Rhône Valley in France.
Okay, so we're both broadcasting from coast to coast. Is it rainy there right now? Because
Yeah,
I think we're in the same sort of
yeah. I mean the
hemisphere.
weather is not amazing for sure.
We kind of have our rainy season showed up too. So
Yeah, yeah.
okay, so here I am with my wine notes, my wine spectator, and here's my Seattle
Oh,
Starbucks
I
cup.
love
And we are
it.
speaking right now in front of a live international audience. And I'm Jessyca Lewis. I'm a marketing and digital strategist for the brands you know and love. And I have a live broadcast on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, every digital platform I think possible. And so let's talk a little bit about Melina. And also, this will be airing on Friday, and you are welcome to post any questions. And we plan to go live in the future here. So if you have anything you'd like to ask, you can ask us any questions. So Melina Sulave, is that correct? Okay, I got it correct. Okay, is is a young professional who discovered her passion for wine in her home country, France, after learning and developing her skills in wine. And do you want to tell us a little bit about your background?
Of course, of course. So actually, I began everything in hospitality school in France. So I did like different few hospitality degree, and actually I arrived in wine quite, I would say, until latest time. So when I finished my hospitality degree, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and I was like, I think I'm missing something. I think I'm really missing something. So I went abroad for 1 year, and after I was like, I know what I'm missing. I'm missing the wine. I'm missing the wine. So I came back to my home. I came back to the Rhône Valley, and I applied for a beautiful wine school called Tain Hermitage. So, and this is where I realized that was for me. So I did 2 years over there of training and learning. So the first years is regarding France, French vineyards, and the second years is much more about like the whole vineyard worlds, mainly based on WSET, so Wine and Spirit Education Trust. And what happened is like after my school, I wanted to move abroad and to obviously perfect my English and knew more about wine from all around the world. So and I ended up in UK. Before London, I was working in the countryside of Oxford for a beautiful chef who is called Raymond Blanc at Le Manoir Aux Quatres Saisons, which is a 2-star Michelin. So it was an amazing place because I learned a lot there, a lot. And 2 years ago, I decided to move to London to have a new experience. And so far, London brought me so much, which is incredible. And every day, I'm very happy to be here.
Where do you think your passion for wine started?
I think it started from actually when I was very very young, because I was very lucky because my parents always brought me to different wine fair in the Rhône Valley when I was very young. So I straight away had the contact with the wine world. I was not drinking, please. When you're but but no, it was, I think this is from there, because we always went to different wine fair because my parents love wine and love really nice wine. So I always discovered that and had the pleasure to speak with different people. And when you have wine, you had food as well. So same, food pairing came very very like quite early on my life, I will say. And yeah, and I think it's really from the passion of my parents for gastronomy. They give it to me.
They give it to you. And I think wine people are similar. We tend to like each other a lot. Have you ever noticed this?
Yeah, no, it's true. Because at the end, we share the same passion.
Yes.
So I think it's for that we appreciate everyone in the one world, because at the end we understand each other. And I mean, when you have wine, you're always happy.
Yes, I agree. So, do you want to talk a little bit about your work history? Have you addressed all of your work history?
No, so So actually, when I moved to London, my first place was at Davies Brook at Claridges Hotel in Mayfair. So Davies Brook was a restaurant who Daniel Hume from 11 Madison Park created there. So I came there as a sommelier. It was only for a few months because unfortunately after the restaurant closed. And after that, I moved for a few months also at the Ledbury in Notting Hill for the reopening time. It was such an amazing experience because it's not every day where we can, work for a restaurant which is not open yet. So, like the strategy you have to put in place is very, very different, and that was amazing experience. And now, so since last year, July last year, I am at Hélène Darroze at the Connaught in Mayfair as well as a sommelier. So it's a three-star Michelin restaurant.
Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful. So, do you want to? So, I have started a Women in Wine series because I have a lot of women that would like to talk a little bit about their experience in the wine industry. And so, let's talk a little bit. And so, I'll have graphics. So, I'll have Women in Wine graphics, and I also feature men as well and all kinds of people. But I just wanted to do this special series for women. And
Of
so,
course.
let's talk a little bit about your experience being a woman in the wine industry. So, women are perceived as entering the wine industry as minorities. What is your perception there?
I mean, it's true because hospitality in general were very like men driving for years and years. But now I think women are much more into it, and we are getting represent much more and more. And I think it's nice, I mean, at the end, a woman can do everything as a man can do in the wine world. So
Yes.
why not to be present, and at the end, to be a man or to be a woman, I think that doesn't change anything. If you like wine, if it's your passion, just go for it.
So, what would you? Okay, so on that note, a little bit, if there were someone that wants to enter the wine industry, what? How would you encourage them, or what would you say?
I mean, as I say, if they like this industry, I will say go for it. Like, when you're inspired by something, just follow your dream. And after that, now we do have like lots of different kind of platform and degree who are really helping to know the wine world. So for example, as I said, the WSET, or for the sommelier, there is as well the CMS, so the Court of Master Sommelier. And so I would recommend to these people to just like big study. So maybe to begin with the WSET at level 1, level 2, and after to maybe like level 3, and after maybe move to the CMS, and just to do maybe some if they're not working in hospitality so far, maybe just to begin by few extra shifts, for example, in hospitality, to see if they're really like what they like, because obviously to work in the restaurants is very such a different perspective than to work in the office. So maybe at the beginning, just to go slowly, step by step, and after following the path.
What do you think your future with wine will be?
Ooh, I mean this is an amazing question.
Or what are
For my
your hopes for the future?
I mean, I just hope for my future to continue what I'm doing, because every day when I wake up, I'm very happy to go to work. Um, I like the interaction I have with my guests, and recommend me something. What do you like? And I'm like, okay, sure. So with that and that, I will more recommend this wine or maybe that. And after I'm very happy because they're discovering something new, something they don't know, and they are trusting my judgment. And so at the end, they are really happy about the whole experience, and I'm very happy because I've done my job, and I share my knowledge, I share my passion. So yeah, I'm really hoping that I will continue that.
And so there's kind of a saying that if you love your job, it really isn't a
Yeah,
job. So it ends up being this enjoyable experience for you. So
yeah.
what do you think some of the biggest learning curves for women entering the wine industry are?
I mean, I think, yeah, I really think like the best learning curve is just to getting in the wine world through like different maybe media or platform, and to learn about it. And as well, for example, in London we do have a lot of occasion about wine tasting or wine bar. Maybe you just go, after your work you go for a wine bar, you ask maybe the sommelier which is there, and as I say, step by step, this is how they will learn everything. Because to be a sommelier is for sure is very important to love wine, that's for sure. But on the same time, they need to understand what is wine, because by understanding where the wine is from, what is a terroir in general, you will understand the style.
I think sometimes in the United States, a lot of us, so for example, that wasn't part of my culture. So wine wasn't part of the culture. So I didn't grow up drinking wine. So some of us have to learn when we're older. And I still feel, and I wanted to ask you about this. So I have a We Set too, and I've tasted lots of wine, and I've tasted so much wine. It's so overwhelming to me still at this juncture that's hard to know. Someone says, "What's your favorite wine?" or "What do you recommend?" It's like a daunting question. How do you get to the point where someone says, "What do you recommend?" Well, you might have a wine list and you know what to choose on the list, but how do you get to the point where you're out and someone says, "What do you recommend?" and just out of the whole library, narrow down to something?
Actually, it's a question that my guests ask me quite a lot. So, and as well for me, it's really complicated because I love a lot of things. So it's like to choose one thing is really, really complicated for me. But many of the time, what I will do is I will ask my guests their preference, because for example, if I do have a guest, let's say she or he doesn't like sweet wine, I will not recommend sweet wine because I know they will not appreciate it. So I will try to understand what they like, which style of wine they are looking for, and like this, I will give them few recommendation. Many of the time, I will give 2 or 3 recommendation, and like this, they can choose what they like. And yeah, and that's it. And after sometime when the guest asks me, yeah, what is your favorite wine? If I have to choose one, I have one appellation is mine in my mind because this related to my history, to where I'm from, to what I did in the past before. But like pure flavor profile, I love a lot of things. Yeah.
And then you also grew up with this probably rich background in French wine, where that was going on your entire youth. Is that
Yes.
is that correct? Okay.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, always, when my parents were organizing dinner at home, it was always a bottle of wine. So it was
Yes.
great.
Yes. Very nice way to learn. What do you think some of the misconceptions are for women in the wine industry? Or, for example, there's a perception that this happens, but it doesn't happen, or a perception that women are treated a certain way. What do you think some of the misconceptions might be?
I think it is because before we're not represented as we are now. So I think it is. I think it's many for that. You know, um, Women before was not allowed. In the kitchen, for example, you have to think about years and years and years ago. But now it's a little bit different. So it's the same kind of spirit in the wine world. I think it's because we are not represented enough, and as well, for the woman in hospitality in general, it was not really easy because at some point, a woman when she get pregnant, she can't really work. And same in the wine world, like when the woman is getting pregnant, she may doesn't want to taste any wine at all for the healthiness of her baby. I mean, that is after is everyone's choice, personal choice. But I think this is why at some point for women now it's different, but for women at the beginning it was not really easy because you sometimes you can have some people ask you like, oh, how old are you, and if you will be around 30, or I don't know, like between 30 35, let's say, or they may say, oh no, we're not interested because you may be pregnant soon, so that means you will be off the floor for a period of time. And I think this is why it was not really easy before, but now, I mean, a woman can do everything, right?
Right. Do you think the wine industry was slow to adapt? Do you think they're behind, for example, other industries, or do you think it's the same?
I don't think they are really behind. I mean, in general, I don't think there is behind. I would say there is the same.
The same. Okay.
After, after, you know, it's really like in general. Some people can be behind, but in general, I never like, feel myself behind something because I was a woman.
Okay. I think things have evolved that way. I think maybe some of the generations before us were having more of those issues, but none of us want to feel like because we're in the years to have children that we aren't able to work or any of those kinds of things. So,
Yeah.
okay. So what I wanted to ask you now is let's talk about your wine competitions
Sure.
and talk about that and talk about what that means overall.
Yeah. So actually, it's quite new for me, the wine competition. Um, so actually, it was last week. I went to Slovenia in Ljubljana, in the capital, to be part of the international Jeune Sommelier competition. So we were 14 different competitors for 14 different countries. And I really, really enjoyed this moment because what I love with competition is that push me myself to a different way. You know, what I'm doing every day with my guest, I feel very relaxed. I know exactly what I have to say. I know my menu. I know everything, you know. And if I have a tricky question for my guest, I can always check. But competition is like you have a timing in a short period of time, you have to do things, you know. So it's like you have to think in a different way to make sure at the end you done the job, let's say. So no, I really really enjoy that. And actually, you know, in this competition, I was the only woman. I was the only woman. So I was with 13 13 men competitors, and I was
Oh,
the only
wow.
female. And as you know, as we are talking about, you know, women in the wine world, I didn't feel different at all.
Okay. So
And
they made you feel very welcome. Okay.
yes, oh yeah, yeah, seriously, yes. You know, we all share knowledge. They all ask me about my opinion, and as me, I ask them about their opinion about different topics. And I mean, it was great, but I didn't feel different. The only, I think for me, where I feel different is where people from outside, they were saying, "Oh, but there is only one woman," you know. But inside the group, I didn't see the difference, and
Oh,
that was amazing. And at the end, you know, so I at the end, this competition really teach me a lot, because you know, you have to manage your stress in a different way that you do every day. And that for me, you know, when you do competition, is like you go back to zero. It's like no one know you. You have to just like do the points. And this is where I like to reset myself. And after this competition, I know what I have to work on it and what I need to study. And yeah, and it's great.
how do you deal with the stress?
Not really well, to be honest with you. No, this is, you know, it's crazy because, you know, everyone, and after all the judges were very very nice with me. They were all like, but you know, like it's as you do every day at work. And me, I'm like, yeah, but no. It's like I don't know why. I really don't know why. At work, I'm not stressed. You know, I do the. I speak with my guests. I do my wine service. I open my wine bottle. I'm very happy. Everything go quite flawless. In competition, it's not the same.
How do you keep
I'm losing
yourself
my mind,
calm?
losing my word.
Yes. How do you calm yourself down and what do you do?
I mean, I just try to breathe a lot, and I'm just telling to myself, all right, Melina, it's one shot, go for it, do your best, and you will see after. But for sure, you know, for me, I'm doing the competition really for myself, to push myself to different kind of environment that I'm not used to it, because I think it's really important to be able to have our skills in a different, like, I'll say, to how can I say that, like to really be able to adapt ourselves to different situation. And I think competition is bringing me a lot of that.
And what are the so after you win the competition, what happens for you in terms of the competition winning and that kind of a thing? What does it do for you?
I mean, so I didn't win. I was in the semi-finalist, but I was very happy to take part of it.
Yes, because that actually yes.
Yeah,
That
but
shows still a lot. Yes.
yeah, yeah, thank you. But after, you know, after it's just back to a normal life, you know. And I think when I went back to work, all my team were really supportive, and they're really saying like to me like, oh, well done, it's amazing what you have done. And I was like, I'm very happy. I'm happy about myself, but at the same time I am very humble. And it's just like a new step, you know. It's just a new step, and at the end it's for my personal like professional life. So at the end I'm like, thank you very much, but I'm still myself. I still Melina, and okay, new service, new customer, new guest. Let's go for it.
Okay, well, let's see what we've got here. Tell us about your favorite French wine and or your favorite wines.
All right. So as I said, you know, there is one appellation in very particular who like is amazing for me. So it's a red wine from the Rhône Valley, obviously, from the appellation of Cornas. So Cornas is one of these appellation which is 100% red, so 100% Syrah on the granitic soil, and it's a sun trap. And I love this wine for two reasons. The first reason is because, as I said, like, you know, with my parents, we went to different wine fair, and we went quite often to Cornas. So I remember, you know, sharing amazing moment with my family over there. And the second one is as well. So during my first years at school in my wine school, on the first months we do an internship in the vineyard, and I was in Cornas. And because it's so steep slopes, and I remember, you know, taking the grape, I mean, picking the grape from the vine and to the harvest in general, and after working inside the cellar, and I was like, this is demanding so much effort, like so much, like oh my god. And the thing is, like after that, you know, when you have to taste the wine, Cornas is one of those very like full body style of Syrah, which is very like high in tannins. Then you have to wait to really appreciate it. And this is what I like. It's like you need to be patient to be able to enjoy amazing taste. And Cornas for me is one of these beautiful expression of the Syrah, which I really enjoy it.
It sounds wonderful. So, what are some of the tips that for women entrepreneurs that you would like to recommend?
I mean, yeah, just if I mean the few tips is like, as I said, like they just have to follow what they want to do, you know, and push the door. And if one day the door is closed, push another one. You know, the wine world is so large. You know, it's like almost every country is related to the wine world. So like just go for it. And if one day, yeah, someone say no, you can't. Okay, go to see someone else. You know, you will always find people who will be happy to help.
And I think so. I think for myself, I'm an entrepreneur. And so I started, so I started a wine program at the University of Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
And so I took students to Italy for 4 years. And then I left and I started a business. So before I started doing a live broadcast, I started inventing. So I would pair two people's pictures together, and then I did a lot of Q&A with graphics, and I actually would ask really, really difficult questions. So that was very popular. Then I started doing the YouTube video, and then I started doing the YouTube live. And so I'll work on a podcast, but I did that during the pandemic. And I think the biggest part of this, you know, is you just have to keep going. And also, I would say a big part for any woman entrepreneur or anyone trying to start a business or anyone trying to be brave is you have to step into absolute fear.
Yeah.
Have you 100%. Done that?
Yeah, no, it's true. You know, it's for me, this is the most complicated part, because, you know, it's always easy to stay on the corner and to wait and see, but you will not have anything. So like go for it. Go, you know, go to the light, you know, like go for it. And yeah, as you say, like continue and continue and continue, and this is how thing will happen.
And I agree too. And so let's talk a little bit about COVID. So we've kind of gone through this huge thing and we're on the other side, but I'm seeing still a lot of different things happening on the other side. You want to talk a little bit about your COVID experience in hospitality?
I mean, my COVID experience was really not bad, to be honest with you. So when COVID happened, I was still working in Oxford, and I had amazing chance. It's like the company supported me, so it's like I had almost the same salary as when I was not working. And so when COVID happened, I decided to move back to France with my family because I didn't want to stay. At the beginning, when I arrived in UK, I didn't know anyone. So I didn't want to stay with COVID around. Plus, my English, it was not the same as it is now. So I decided to move back with my family for a few months. So, and I'm very from a countryside area in France. So for me, it was more than fine, more than fine. I was enjoying the beautiful countryside with my parents, and on the same time I was continuous. So I took actually all the free time I had to study wine. So every day I was like going through my wine by the glass and try to learn more about the estate or the appellation or the style of the wine. And yeah, and every day, and I remember doing as well some um, tasting, but obviously via computer. It was nice because I had the pleasure to meet different winemaker that were speaking about their estates, showing videos, picture, and yeah, I mean, for me, it was a great moment. COVID didn't really, I mean, didn't affect my passion for wine at all.
Yeah. What was interesting, and this sounds like it was interesting for you, is I'm an extrovert. And so that was the first time I've ever stayed at home that much.
Yeah.
And so there
Mhm.
was a lot of, so I did the same thing. I studied wine and then I sat and worked. So in order to do this broadcast, I had to sit and study all this. How do you put it together? How do you put the graphics together? So I did a lot of social media studying as well as also studying wine and reading Wine Spectator and Food and Wine. What is your favorite magazine to read, or what do you read when you're studying or keeping up with the wine industry?
So, France side, I will read Revue des Vins de France, which I really like because like there are really always new thing inside and new thing to learn. After that, when I study, I use a wine atlas book, and I'm using guild some as well online. And after that, I go to different article online. I don't have like one specific thing that I follow every month, but I'm using a lot of things. And at the moment as well, this is not much more for let's say it's not really learning, but there is this manga called The Drop of God,
Mm-hmm.
um, on Apple TV. And actually, I do have a lot of guests asking questions about it. And I was like, okay, I don't know anything about it. So I will begin to read. So at the moment, I'm reading that as well. I'm not watching the TV show because, first of all, I want to read the thing, and after, maybe I will watch it. But yeah, at the moment, this is what I'm using.
So what is Drop of God?
So it's a manga. I don't know exactly when it be created, but I think few years ago. And I mean, I'm just at the beginning, but the story says is about like a sommelier. Um, she's in love actually with the wine from France, and so she's discovering new thing and how to taste, and always speaking about like big estate like TRC for Domaine de la Romanée Conti, or some Grand Cru as well, or some beautiful chateau in Bordeaux. And so far, where I am is at the very, very at the beginning of the book. Um, but it's like, yeah, discovering new thing. And I like the way how they explain the flavor, because by reading the book I can almost feel the flavor in my mouth. So I'm like, I'm thirsty now.
Okay, I'll look that up. That sounds interesting.
Yeah,
And
no, it's really nice. Yeah.
okay, and what are some of your favorite women in the wine industry that have inspired you?
So first of all, Pascaline Lepelletier. I really like how she do everything. I mean, she was so she did the Meilleur Ouvrier de France and the best French sommelier of the year. I think it was 2018 or 2019, if I'm not wrong. And after, so I mean, on the really international profile, that is my inspiration. I love what she's doing. And on much more national profile, um, all my sommelier friends, I do have women, and all these women are amazing. Like, I like the way how they push things, how they do the thing, And I do have one close friend in particular. She, when I met her, she was a sommelier like me, and in 2 years, she jumped like so high because what happened is like the fact that she wanted one thing and she went for it. She studied a lot, she tasted a lot of wine. Almost every Sunday she was doing training. And the fact that she was close to me, I can see how she grow as a sommelier and as a woman in the one world. For me, that is really inspiring, and I just try to follow her path because I think it's such amazing what she's done so far.
Oh, wonderful. And so, how do people find you if they're looking for you on social media or they want to ask you questions? How do we find you?
So my first name, same, Melina. And actually, regarding my surname, it's a little bit different. It's said to be sous la vie. It's just la vie. So
La
la
vie.
vie for the life.
Ah, okay. And so you're on what social media platforms are you on?
So Facebook and Instagram. And
Okay.
on LinkedIn as well. LinkedIn is my full name.
Okay. So I'm going to end the broadcast now. And thank you, Melina. And we'll plan to go live later. And feel free to ask us any questions. This will post on a Friday. I'll give a specific date and people will be able to watch it and you can pass it around. And thank you so much. I appreciate you. And I'll end the broadcast now.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Ciao, ciao.
Thank you. Ciao.
Ciao.